welcome to The One Show with Alex Jones.
And Jason Manford. And for the past few days, the world has been gripped by one of the greatest rescues ever. I mean, such an uplifting story, amazing. Have you been following it?
From the beginning, since the lads got trapped, yes.
Yeah,
from the beginning.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Well, the miner's survival proves that true stories are often the most gripping and, as Anita explains, the most lucrative as well.
Disaster, danger, despair and hopefully the ultimate happy ending. The miner's story in Chile ticks every Hollywood box. So, whilst the world has been focused on their rescue, behind the scenes an even bigger operation is well underway. And few are better at the deals that turn big news into big money than Max Clifford.
If I'd been involved, then all of this would have been signed off weeks ago. Number one, you've got your people out there researching the story, how it happened, what went wrong, getting to know the families, the individual stories. Two, you've got your documentary people. They've got to come out with their documentary in the next few weeks while it's fresh in everybody's mind. Number three, newspapers and magazine deals. Well, obviously that can't take place until everybody's up. Number four, you've got your book deal.
For us, timing is everything. The quicker you're out with this kind of a book, the better. And there are writers on the ground who are talking to family members, so it's happening.
They vowed not to speak about the first 17 days, but how likely is it that 33 men can keep stum about that?
When they're down there, there's a huge sense of solidarity, but the reports are that people are being offered massive amounts of money. Human nature would indicate that perhaps somebody will crack.
And the plan doesn't stop there.
Number five, film deal, where you've got slightly more time. Obviously, casting, the bigger the stars, the better, because the bigger the stars, the bigger the chance of the big box office.
Colin Vaines has produced films that have made hundreds of millions at the box office, from Cold Mountain to Gangs of New York.
As a movie producer, this is a fantastic story. It's got massive human interest. It's got a disaster movie element to it. And you've got two stories going simultaneously. You've got what's happening underground, but you've also got what's happening above ground.
What possible problems can you foresee?
You might be very excited by the idea that George Clooney or Javier Bardem are going to play you, but then you might be less excited when you realise that that also means that your personal life, where you have a wife and alleged mistress, you may not want that to be revealed.
Product merchandise can make as much money as the movie itself. It's Russell's job to find celebrities to advertise certain products.
These guys are heroes. It's been a tragic story that's now come out in really positive light. So brands need to be really careful they're not just being seen to be trying to piggyback off the back of that. Brands that might see a fit for them could be anything from energy drinks and energy bars, sunglasses, batteries that show sort of energy. But then you've got the more fun things like the shower gels, like the deodorants, like the shaving creams.
How much of that money would the miners actually get to see, do you think?
Depending on how much they get for the newspaper, magazine deals, how much money the book generates, you could be talking realistically anything between 10 and 100 million pounds. That's a realistic figure based on the huge worldwide interest and the feelings there are around the world right now of happiness because of they're all alive.
So if you thought that the miners' rescue was the end of the tale, think again. The plan for reliving, retelling and reselling that story began even before the first miner was rescued.
Wow. Our public relations expert, Mark Borkowski, is here. Mark, the miners can obviously make a lot of money now. I mean, between 10 and 100 million, Max was saying. But there must be a downside to it as well.
Well, of course there is. I mean, there's a phenomenal amount of money on offering from what is a pretty poor profession they've worked for, and it's going to change their lives, and it's going to create this fame, this horrible thing at times that is going to change your life.
In your blog, you said that you think in a little while some of them might actually want to be back down there compared to what they're going to make.
Well, you look at the upside, but you know, this amount of money, this amount of media attention, they're global icons, they're heroes, and everybody's going to have an opinion about them, and they're going to try and hold on to their story, but this sort of fame is very difficult for a professional to sort of deal with, let alone someone who has no experience of the global media, because it's not a local Chilean story. Everybody in the world is looking at these heroes.
But Mark, as a PR expert yourself, how would you suggest then that the miners should deal with this? What would your advice be?
Well, if somehow they've got to keep their feet on the ground, it's going to be very difficult for them to do that. If I was talking to them, I'd try and keep them together as a unit. 33 men have got 33 stories. it's easy to keep that together when you're incarcerated in this horrible hell, but when you're out, everybody's got an opinion. Lots of people will be trying to get at you. Everybody will be offering things and trying to break that unit up to get at the story. So I'd try and keep them together as a unit and try and make them aware of what is going on around them, because there's going to be so many people attacking their nearest and dearest.
Yes,
so you break it apart.
Yeah.
Because they're talking about, you know, a film. I mean, would you watch a film about this? Bill, would you go for that?
Would I watch a film?
Yeah,
depending on who did it and how it was done.
Yeah.
If it was tastefully done, yes, I would.
Because I think it's a great... I think, you know, it's an interesting story. Obviously, we've been following it on the rolling news, but some might say that the story from now on how 33 humans, you know, individuals, deal with new fame would actually make a more interesting story.
Yeah.
Well, we're seeing it all the time. I mean, you've seen reality shows that take over, and, you know, these people pluck from obscurity to be thrown into the sort of tabloid machine. I find it very difficult. But how do you think, when you're a global name, you don't have anything to hide behind, like a piece of music or a performance? So the media's job will be to break that unit up. The story, absolutely going forward, is interesting, but the backstory, those 17 days, what went on,
and
if
who said what?
Yes. If you can keep that together, then it becomes very, very valuable.
Fair enough. Thanks, Mark. I'm sure we'll have one of them on here at some point. Now, every day, millions of people...